The Global Latin Factor Podcast.
Welcome to another episode of the Global Latin Factor Podcast. My name is Crispin Valentin, and I am your host. And this is the show where we talk about Latino everything. That's right. If you want to know anything about Latino, this is the place where you're going to find a little bit of, lots of bit of Latino information, and also a little bit of different things. Today, we have a very special guest. She's going to help me with the podcast today, and she's also going to tell us a little bit about her. Hello. Introduce yourself,
Hello.
ma'am.
My name is DJ Virah. I was born in Dallas, Texas, from Grand Prairie, though, raised in Grand Prairie. I've been DJing for about 6 years.
Nice.
I started out as a little bartender in Deep Ellum, trying to get my foot in the music industry.
I saw that.
Luckily, I ran into some pretty cool DJs that, gave me the tools to make my hobby into a career one day.
Awesome. So what got you started as far as like your interest in it? Because I know you say you're bartending, but what sparked like the interest of you wanting to DJ?
Well, in the beginning, I loved making little mixes of putting songs together, and then my cousin in the Valley, he actually introduced me to some software to where I can put it all into one recording.
You remember what the software was called?
It was actually Virtual DJ.
Virtual DJ.
Yep.
It's still around. All right. So I know you've been interviewed before. So did you ever run into give me 3 questions that you wish they would have asked at the interview that you previously had before? What would it be?
3 questions. One, I would have liked if someone would ask what my favorite color is.
Yeah. What's your favorite color?
It's red.
Your favorite color is red? Why?
Right
Just
now.
because?
Yeah. It changes over the years.
So it's up today.
Yeah,
it's red.
It's
All
red
right.
today.
What was the other question you wish it would have asked?
Another question probably who are my biggest influences, or if I'm interested in anybody major that has influenced me.
And who would that be?
It would be, I have my top 3.
All right.
So
What's up?
my top one, of course, is Lady Gaga. I don't care what people say.
You know what? I sent you a picture before, because we know each other from outside of here. But I sent you a picture. You look like her when you were young, when she was younger. I know you saw the picture.
I've seen a lot of pictures.
Yes, it's similar. Yeah, look alike similar whenever she was younger. Yeah. I was like, y'all, that look alike a little bit.
I actually dressed up like her one Halloween, and people kept asking me, are you Gaga?
Really?
I was like, yes, I am.
That is so dope. See, I told you look alike a little bit. All right, what else? What would be the 3rd question? Oh, actually, influence. What other influences? So you said 2 of them.
Yeah. My second one would be Missy Elliott, just because she's really powerful, changed the game big time.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And what else?
My 3rd one would be Snow the Product, for sure.
Snow the Product, yeah.
And another cool thing, though, I liked is that them three, and me, we're all actually the same height. So we're tiny but powerful.
So would that be, how high is that?
We're a 5'2".
5'2"? Hey, you clear 4. You clear 4'10", you good. That's what's up. So that's crazy, though. For whatever reason, I know Snow the Product is shorter, because I've seen her in person before.
I met her.
I never met Lady Gaga. Yeah. I never met Lady Gaga. So y'all are the same height. And I never met Lady Gaga, but in everything looks bigger on TV, right? It just depends on what they're doing.
Yeah.
So I feel like she was a whole lot taller. And Missy Elliott, too.
So did I.
Yeah, I thought she was taller. I got that one time before somebody, for whatever reason, they met me in real person. I thought you were taller. I'm
I haven't got that yet.
I am. It was just a one-off. It never happened before. All right. And what would be the 3rd question that you wish they would have asked you in previous interviews?
My 3rd one would probably be what was my actual dream as a child?
All right. What was your actual dream as a child?
My dream, well, one of them was to be at Six Flags, work there or perform there. And I actually made that come true.
You accomplished that.
Yeah, I remember as a kid, I would actually, when I was 4, I remember I went up to Bugs Bunny once, and I asked him, how do I work here? He just nodded, didn't say anything.
Really?
Yeah.
What a butt. How come he didn't tell you?
I was like, it's Christmas, just lie to me.
You fill up an application.
At 4 years
background
old.
check, and then
I was ready.
You get a call. So how do you feel whenever you actually, because it's a dream come true.
Yeah.
You DJ'd there, and you actually still you haven't DJed this year or last year, right?
Not yet.
Okay,
no.
but you got
Hopefully.
to do it. And how did it feel like whenever you actually got to do it?
Man, like, it went by really quick, but I wanted, like, my family to be there so we could all enjoy it. And I really actually enjoyed the moment more after. Like, after, you know, the music was done and I got to just stand there on the stage, all the lights were back on, so I could see where all my stuff was to pack up. But that was, like, the moment where I was like, I did it.
That's what's up. That's awesome. I didn't know that about you, and that's cool that you actually got it to fulfill because a lot of people don't get fulfill their dreams. And whenever you get to actually do as a kid, going to Bugs Bunny and asking them what it takes to work here, to actually one day, somehow, some way, you were gonna know you were gonna perform, and you got to do it.
Yeah,
that's dope. All right, so as far as so what exactly is it that, like, I know you touched on it a little bit, but what really, like, drew you into, like, not like DJing instead of anything else as far as performing?
Well, I knew, like, I wanted to be something in music because it actually runs in my family. You know, my uncles, my dad, we have a big, like, music history in our family.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, we have about probably 6 DJs, a radio personality, 3 rappers.
Oh, wow, for real?
Yeah, so I definitely wanted to get
so
in
which
there.
ones are they? Which all of them are they? Like the names, all your relatives that are, DJs and rappers and things like that. What are they?
Yeah, well, one of them is King Lamon. We got Pershawn. We have Rillo. But then the DJs, like, some of them, they don't really DJ anymore. But I would have wanted to maybe one day, like, we all get together. But my family is pretty big, so it's hard to get us all together.
Yeah, do like a jam session one day.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that would be kind of cool. All right, so real quickly, we're going to do something fun, something we've never done before. This is called Preguntas al Chile. Don't be scared. It's not offensive. Al Chile all pretty much just mean the realest of the realest. So we're going to get the realest of the realest answers from DJ Virah right here. And first one goes, tacos or tortas?
Tacos, definitely.
All right, team tacos all day. Corn tortillas or flour tortillas?
Oh, on a good day, flour.
Flour, all righty. Mexican coca or jarritos?
Jarritos.
What flavor?
I like pineapple.
You like pineapple. That goes good with a torta. They don't know good with a taco. Well, maybe everything goes good with tacos. But with a torta and a jarrito de piña, they go hard.
Ooh,
super
I'm hungry
hard.
now.
Horchata or Jamaica? There's always a debate on that.
Yeah, I would have to go with horchata.
Horchata. Alrighty. Salsa verde or salsa roja?
Honestly, I can't do either one because I don't eat spicy.
Nothing wrong with that.
But I like to smell like salsa verde.
You like to smell it?
From far away because salsa roja, I don't know why, like, it makes me cough a lot.
Really? It's the spice. It's the spice. There's nothing wrong with that. Menudo or pozole?
Oh, both.
Both. Take both.
Yeah.
All right. Churros or sopapillas?
Churros.
All righty. That's what's up. I like that. So for me, I will go with tacos as well. Corn. I don't do too much sodas, but I'd like jarritos, and it will be the piña too.
Okay.
I like Jamaica big time more, and salsa verde. I love salsa verde. The tomatillo, I think it's the tomatillo for me. For real, it's go hard. And so I'm mostly vegan, right? So I can manage to eat everything, and even the menudo and the pozole, because my mom's made some, like a variation, like a vegan type variation, and it was really good.
I want to try it.
So, yeah. So, one day if my mom makes me some, most likely the holidays, then I'll hook you up. I'm going to sure I get you some.
Cool.
I like sopapillas because churros, sometimes they have eggs, so sopapillas will be the one for me. And I can still get away with eating something vegan. All right. So, okay. So, again, this is the Global Latin Factor podcast, right? So, your descendants were Mexicanos, right? I know most of the recipe you went to because I know you're Mexicana.
Yeah.
So, that's the reason why I chose these. But you are Mexicana?
Yes.
Were your parents born here or they were born in Mexico?
My mom was born here. No, I'm sorry. My dad was born here. My mom from Mexico, from Guanajuato.
Guanajuato. Okay. And then you know Spanish?
Yes, I do.
All right. So I don't always have it, but there's people that say for whatever reason that if you don't speak Spanish, then you don't qualify as a Latino or Mexican. How do you feel about that?
I think that's rude, honestly.
It is rude, right?
Because for one reason or another, like, not everybody got to learn Spanish. I did, only because I learned it at home. Is when we only spoke Spanish, and I learned English at school. So that's how my parents did it. But not everybody does it that way or has time to teach you all the Spanish.
We cover Nancy Lopez. She's a golfer, and her dad protected her from learning English. He didn't want her to learn Spanish, for the same reason he didn't want her to be bullied in school, because during that time, there's prejudice and things like that, and if you speak something foreign, they look at you funny. So parents a lot of the times protected their kids.
Yeah.
So I think it is rude, honestly. I think it's more, I call it being more ignorant. Sorry if you feel offended, but I don't think it's a qualification, because at the end of the day, it doesn't really matter, right? Because the government are going to put us on a category. That's the reason why we have Latinos or Hispanic, all really for census purposes. They don't care. They don't ask us, like, do you speak Spanish? Or if you're not, okay, we're going to go, you don't know Spanish? Okay, you're going to the Latino side. You know what I mean? Okay, you know what I mean? They don't care. Yeah. It doesn't matter to us. And I think it's a qualification. It's whatever you have in your blood, your relatives, and what you, like, the upbringing that you had. You know what I mean? Because you can't deny it. Like, how much of you feel like, because I know you like your culture, like Mexicano stuff. You embrace a lot of the things. So what's your favorite thing about, like, Mexicano culture that you like a lot? Like either a holiday or things like that?
My favorite, which I actually incorporate to, like, my merchandise, would be Dia de los Muertos.
Yeah.
Like the sugar skulls. Like, some people I've seen, they're like, oh, it's just like a design. I'm like, no, sweetie, it's not a design. It's actually a whole culture.
Yeah, it's a whole culture.
Heritage, yeah.
Yeah, and it's not for Cinco de Mayo either, so.
Like sombreros.
Yeah, sombreros. Okay, so I didn't ask about this, though. Tell me about your name. Why DJ Virah?
I actually picked it out because, well, I don't tell a lot of people, but I'll tell you.
All right, cool. That's what's up. Insider.
So the story pretty much is someone actually wanted to give me the name Ladybug. I was like, no, Ladybug doesn't really fit me. So I was at Olive Garden one day, and I had the menu, right? You know, the drink menu?
Yeah.
Because I drink sometimes, not all the time.
Uh-huh, sure. Being a bartender before, I'm pretty sure you never drank before.
No, I drink water.
Yeah, you probably got a degree. Anyways, carry on.
But, so I had the menu. I was looking through all the drinks, and I started noticing that there were rappers' names in it. I don't remember the names exactly, but there were some rappers. I was like, wow, like I saw at least 5. I was like, so this is where they get their name. Then I saw one, Syra.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, Syra, I actually know who that is. It's she works with Skrillex. He's a DJ producer. And I was like, I actually looked up to her too at the time. Right. And still now also. So I thought, well, maybe I could like change up that name to fit me. So I went through the alphabet, went all the way down to V, and V, something about just Virah hit me.
You know why I was thinking about your name? For whatever reason, I was trying to like find out or make it like figure out why. So you're like the Skulls, right?
Yeah.
And like, ain't that the Addams Family? One of them is like Virah or something like that. Like the lady, ain't that her name? Carlos, you don't know?
It's Morticia.
Is it Morticia?
Yeah.
One of them,
You're
I think, is Virah.
You're probably thinking of Elvira, which is a whole different thing.
Again, maybe that's the one that I was thinking about.
Yeah, I get that a lot.
Close, but that's what I was thinking, because you like
it's around Halloween.
Halloween. You like the skull, so I was way off then. Never mind. I'm moving on to the next thing. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and talk about another Latina DJ that you found out by looking at some of her interviews that y'all have a lot of things in common.
Yeah, we do.
And just by based on what you told me and what I looked up is that y'all really do, like, a lot of things. Her name is Xiomara Marie Henry, a.k.a. DJ Bembona. But before we move to her, we're going to talk about something funny that I saw, and I just couldn't help to talk about it. Have you heard the story about the guy that got eaten or swallowed by a whale?
Yeah, I did.
Okay.
I saw some on TV.
Yeah. So, do you think it was real?
I think so, because when the part that I saw when he was on the news, he looked kind of like it just happened.
Like he just came out of a well?
He was sitting on the floor and just, trying to get himself together with cameras in his face.
Like he just got thrown up by a well?
Yeah.
That's what the face he had?
Yeah.
Okay, so I don't remember the gentleman's name, but he was fishing for crab, and he was like not swallow. He was like it wasn't swallow. The whale grabbed him on his mouth, and had him there. He didn't really eat him. All he did is like, I guess he was whatever he was doing before he said everything just went dark. So the freaking whale got him, and it was he was in the whale's mouth. So I saw different interviews, and the news and the media kept saying the man got swallowed. He didn't really get swallowed. The whale just had him in his mouth. I guess he confused him with something or whatever, and then spat him out. Like, that's it. That's what happened. So he didn't really get swallowed into the belly, because after that, I'm pretty sure he wouldn't have made it.
Yeah.
There's acids and all kinds of stuff. And it's so far-fetched that you would be like, no way, that could never happen. But then there's another gentleman that's a photographer that was years before. He was taking pictures in the water with a team of people, and the same thing happened to him. A whale got him.
Oh, wow.
But this time, the people in the boat started snapping pictures, and you can see the man inside, almost like he was half and half. Like half of his body was outside, and his feet were inside the whale.
Oh, wow.
And then the whale just released because he realized that, he had something. So I believe the man that the whale got him. And they said the chances are like 1 in a trillion that could happen to you.
And it's happened twice.
Crazy. If I was him, as soon as I got all done, I would have cleaned myself up. I would have gone and got me a couple of lottery tickets. Bro, he's super lucky. 1 in a trillion. And that dude, like, the freaking whale got him. That's crazy.
Wow.
So I believed the man for the same reason that I believe the other gentlemen's. And there's evidence. There's pictures. Like, they verify the pictures that guy was literally in the whale's mouth. And then she let him go. Or he, or what are they?
Or Free Willy.
Yeah. Nah, it wasn't big whales. It was a humpback whale. Those are the big ones.
Oh, wow.
Not a blue whale. Have you seen the size of a blue whale?
Yeah.
Their things are massive.
It's enormous.
They're freaking huge. I want to see one. I only seen them on TV, but they look like freaking submarines.
I don't even want to get up close.
I kind of do. But, I don't know how to swim, so I'll be kind of nervous. I know how to swim a little bit. I can doggy pedal. I can make it to wherever I need to. I can float a little bit, but then I'll get tired. All right. So I just thought it was fun to touch up on that story. And, yes, things like that can happen. You can get swallowed by a whale, so be careful out there if you're in the ocean. Xiomara Marie Henry, a.k.a. DJ Bembona. DJ Bembona, she is a DJ, a female DJ. So tell me what you find out about her that you felt like it was real similar to your story, and I'll tell you which ones I think that, yeah, that's exactly it.
Well, a couple things. The first thing was that she started out DJing as a hobby.
Yeah. She went to her friend from school, her mom's birthday. It was her mom's birthday, and he said, "You want to DJ?" I was like, okay. So her first gig, her dad helped her load the equipment, and her whole family went to the party.
Wow.
That's crazy, right?
She had a whole crowd.
Yeah, exactly. And then to me, I don't know, I got kind of touched a little bit because it was so cool to have a whole family supporting her, and that's kind of the same thing for your story whenever you were at Six Flags and you had your family there.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool. You know what I mean? So that's the similarities that I seen in y'all. It's a different event, but I was like, she had a whole little crowd with her, and that was so cool. All right, what else did you thought that was the same?
Another thing, she started naming people that she would listen to back in the day, like Britney Spears.
Her first CD ever?
Yeah. I was like, I had this CD too, and Christina Aguilera and Sync.
I had a super crush with Christina Aguilera. Not no more. We're broken up.
I got to see her once.
You did you?
Yeah, at the State Fair when she was like really young, still had the red streaks.
Yeah.
It was probably her second album.
She was still pretty all right already, like pretty famous.
Yeah.
That's cool. What else? And another band that you say you like, Paramore, right?
Yeah.
And different things like that. So she grew up growing. Her first CD, was, like you said, was Britney Spears. She liked a lot of punk rock bands, but then she did grow up in a Latino household, so they played a lot of Fania records. If you remember from the salsa episode, Fania records, a lot of salsa and merengue and different things like that. She is Panamanian. And why can't I find the other part? I know I had it here somewhere. Probably got terrible notes. You know that? I do. All right. I'm sorry, Boricua y Panameña. So from Boricua and Panama. So that's pretty cool. And she's cool. Okay. So just recently, maybe it's just my ignorance that I just started realizing that there's a lot of Afro-Latino. The term Afro-Latino. Have you heard it before?
Yeah.
Okay, so I don't know. It was just maybe a couple years ago that I started hearing it more and more. But then I started looking into all the things that we do about Latinos, and it only makes sense because a lot of the times the slaves that they brought them, they didn't bring them to the States. They brought them to the islands, like Cuba, Puerto Rico, and all that. And they had them there, working in the fields, and eventually they became free. But they were born there, So they're like, even though they're from African descent, but technically they're in Latin America, so they are considered Latinos, and they have African descent. So it makes sense they're Afro-Latinos.
That's cool.
Yeah,
I kind of heard about it, like the word Afro, like Latino. Like I started hearing it from Afro beats, which is really cool music that I've actually been getting more into.
Yeah, you like that?
Yeah.
What is it about? Like I think they use a lot of the drums, don't they? Or what do they use a lot more?
Yeah, it's got like a hard like bass, but it's also like kind of smooth.
Cool. So she does. From one of the interviews that I heard from her, she takes a lot to get ready for a set. How long do you take ready to get for like a set? Like if you're gonna do like an event or anything like that, how long does it take you to get ready? Like get all your music ready?
Well, I like to, since I work a lot, I do it throughout the week. Like on my breaks, or I'll be listening to music and just write stuff down, whichever ones I like. So I would say, like to get a good set, probably like half a week.
Half a week?
Yeah.
That's cool. Yeah, she takes
I like
about...
to take my time.
She takes about 2 weeks or so to get ready, to get all her music and get her set ready and get everything sorted out to see what she's going to be. Again, not only is she young, she's 28 years old, but she's very outspoken. And a lot of her mixes that she does, she includes a lot of political things that are happening, And she feels Panamanian are not represented so much in culture as far as music. So she makes it a point to make sure that the Panamanians are, put in are known as far as music. And she likes to find a lot of underground, what you consider underground artists, females from Latino descent, Afro-Latinos, and make sure that she includes some of their music and connect like that. So she seemed pretty cool. Yeah. What else do you think that it was pretty similar to you and her?
Let me think. I'm not really sure. Like that was just all the bands that she was naming. I thought, well, let me see how old she is. Maybe.
Yeah.
We're almost the same age.
Yeah.
We're actually not that far apart in age, so.
Yep, that's true. And then again, y'all did pretty much listen to the same thing. What did you listen to when you were younger, as far as like in your household growing up?
Well, on Sundays we listen to like Luis Miguel, Gloria Estefan.
As you were getting ready to clean?
Yeah, my mom made me.
Yeah. Did you get in trouble or just make you clean just because?
I'd get in trouble if I didn't. I got in trouble a lot actually as a kid.
Why? What was your troublemaking?
I thought I was a good kid, but I grew up as the only child growing up, even though I have other siblings, but I always wish like that I had a younger brother or sister to get me out of trouble, but it was just always me getting into trouble.
Well, I have 2 sisters and 1 brother, and we all 3 of us are the oldest. My youngest brother, we're about 11 year difference, but we used to get in trouble all the time too. And we used to not snitch on each other. So one day, I'm gonna tell my sister. So one time, my sister, I made her mad because I was a big brother, so I'd be like, bullying them and making them cry. So one time, she threw a freaking chair at me, and I ducked, and she hit a window and broke the window. I'm like, oh my God.
Were your parents home?
They were not home. They used to, how we Mexicans roll. If you're like 10, 12, you can stay home. Just don't open the door to no strangers. That's it. Do not open the door. Whatever you do not open the door.
Stay in your room.
But inside the house, we just make a mess. So as soon as my dad got home, we all ran outside, all 3 of us. And we used to do it all the time. If we did something, we used to do it all the time. We just go outside and run immediately. And not even 5 minutes later, Dad yelling, "Oh, y'all, who broke the window?" And we all like,
I ain't snitching.
I ain't snitching. Nope, we didn't. We never snitched on each other. And then we all get a whooping. Boom, 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 boom. Get back inside. We weren't even allowed to play. That's why kids used to want to go outside and play and stay there and just roam around. Not no more, but I'm saying that was our punishment. Go back inside. I'm like, now we can't even go. But hey, we didn't snitch. No snitching.
Well, I bet they know now.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, my dad, he knows English, but he doesn't check out the podcast because it's not his thing. But he would never know. But my sister does, and her husband does, so they're gonna know. She remembers breaking that window. We didn't tell though. Nope, no snitching. All right, we're gonna go ahead and move on to the next part. Okay, so I was watching this podcast because if I'm gonna do a podcast, I'm gonna check out other podcasts, see what they're doing. And one of the podcasts I was checking out, unfortunately, I don't remember the name, but they were talking about fixing fights in boxing. Do you think that happens?
Of course I do.
You think so?
Yeah.
Do you have like something that you remember that you just like that fight had to be fixed? Do you like boxing, first of all?
Yes, I do.
Nice. Okay. So what fight can you recall that you felt like, yeah, that was something funny going on? None?
Yeah, but like once I get started, I'm gonna get angry. So I'm just gonna say Mayweather.
And Canelo?
Just anybody that's fights Mayweather, like, because money talks. I remember seeing him once. All he did was just, dance around the ring.
Mm-hmm.
And he still won.
Okay, so on him, it's he's skillful. We talked about him on the last podcast with a young boxer. He liked Mayweather, and I see where you're coming from because a lot of people do feel that way.
Yeah.
But I think it was part of skill. And it's not like you think that it is that they fix the fights. You know what I mean? It's not that. So the gentleman was talking about, I was trying to listen to see if I catch him lying. I'm like, you lying. You're not for real. But then he touched up on the story, and I'll tell you here in a second. But Mayweather, a lot of it was strategy. And yeah, it's a possibility because after I watched that podcast, I'll be like, yep, everything's possible as far as if it looks funny, then most likely it went that way. But you see like a real fight though, right? That's why people keep tuning in because even though you feel like in your gut, you have a feeling that it had to be fixed. But at the end of the day, you kind of saw a real fight, right? And then the arguments later, but it's after the fact. Nothing's going to change. They already made the call whether he won or lost. You know what I mean? Yeah. So this is over. So we just leave it up to the people after that to argue about if it was fixed or not. But it does happen. So it's not like the fixing that you would think, right? So you would think they paid the judge or things like that. So actually they would have to pay 2 judges to actually win. And it does happen. He said they've done it before. Yep. Especially when they're building up a new guy, a young guy. A lot of the other guys are like, hey, you're going to get beat up. You can go 8 rounds and get beat up, and you can get beat up at 4 and call it a night and get paid. Okay. And then also they can bet against the odds too. So if you're the favorite and you're like, let's say 8-1, but if you lose the fight, then you have somebody else bet on the side for you, somebody you trust, and then if you lose, of course, you're going to get paid a lot more than if you would have won.
Bags and bags.
And then, of course, there's the ref. You can get the ref, too. They can pay off the ref and things like that. So, anyways, I was checking all this stuff, and I'm like, nah, maybe not. And then he said one that I remember so freaking clearly because so back in the days, years ago, I used to freaking love boxing. We used to get every pay-per-view. No matter who was fighting, we used to get it all the time. And I remember Manny Pacquiao was fighting one time. And again, this is all speculation. We're not accusing him of anything. This is just something that came up. Then I felt that I can relate to and I can recall the event like it was yesterday. So Manny Pacquiao was fighting Bradley. His name was Tim Bradley. And on that fight, I was watching that fight. And even though I'm Mexican, right? So Pacquiao is from the Philippines. And he was beating all the Mexicans. But we as fans, we appreciated boxing still. So we wanted to watch him fight. And I remember clearly that he beat up Tim Bradley. He beat him up. There's no doubt he won the fight. I'm not a judge. But being a fan of a boxing, you can clearly see when somebody's getting beat up. Like he was getting beat up. And then when they made the decision and Pacquiao lost. And I was like, how is that possible? No way. And I felt sick to my stomach because I was so involved, so invested in it that I'm like, it had to be fraud. No way, it wasn't. And then the guy talked about it. He said, I wasn't involved in this, but I can bet my life that this fight would fix. at that time, and I remember it too, seeing in the news that Pacquiao was having tax trouble. And apparently he also had a gambling problem. I didn't know about the gambling problem, but I knew about the tax trouble. I remember seeing some kind of news article or something. I'm like, okay. And he said pretty much he feels like what happened was they said, okay, look, nothing's going to happen if you lose this fight. The odds are against you. We just, and he's in Asia. They can bet on the odds against you, and you'll make a bigger payday than if you was to win. If you just take a loss, and nothing's gonna happen. You're not gonna tarnish. You're not undefeated. First of all, you already got some losses. It's gonna do nothing for your name. Everybody's gonna see that you won the fight. And he's like, and he lost, and I was like, I was like, it took me back that day when I felt like sick to myself. I'm like, are you serious? I'm like, no. And you know what happened the next time they fought?
What?
Pacquiao knocked him out.
Good.
Because he should have knocked him out the first time. And even the guy said, I saw so many, because the guy had watched boxing since he was little. So he's like, I saw so many opportunities for Pacquiao to knock him out, and he wouldn't do it. It's all suspect, I'm telling you. So, yeah, I'm not going to watch boxing for a while, for a long time still. Maybe the undercard, maybe the smaller guys, maybe those, but nah.
I like UFC.
I like the UFC more now, a whole lot more. I don't think it's as tinted yet, because it's 25 years, 20, 30 years old now. Boxing's like 100 years or something. But so it's not as tinted, but I see the possibility of people coming in, because he was saying that the guy that they were interviewing, he said sometimes the fighters don't know that he's being fixed. Like the actual fighters, they don't know, but it just happens. So
what a shame.
That is a shame. So if it is happening again, I'm not accusing anybody to come after me. I'm just a messenger of what I saw and my experience of liking the sports and what I've seen and lived. I'm like, are you serious? Like, I remember this.
You remember it forever.
I remember it forever. And that's the reason why I won't fight. I'll go back on YouTube 2 or 3 days later, figure out what happened. I'm not going to buy no more pay-per-views unless the UFC. Like, I'll get down with the UFC. All right. So we're going to go ahead and talk about beans. Frijoles. Beans. Yes. If you didn't know, we talked about different crops from Mexico that have made it all over the world, has helped our civilization, has, pretty much, like, so I don't know if you know this, right? So tomatoes, they're from the Americas. Chocolate, from the Americas. Now, most of the cacao, which is the plant, is grown, as far as, in Mexico where it used to grow, now it was moved over to Africa. Mm-hmm. So a lot of it is produced over there now. But originally, it came from Mexico. So whenever the Aztecs and all the natives were growing all the crops, all the Europeans, when it came over, like Spaniards and all them, they, interact with the people, conquer whatever, and then just take the crops back. And the crazy thing is, once they take it back, they start making their way to Europe, and then the Americas, the U.S. wasn't populated yet, so they go from Europe and then take it right back to the States. That's crazy. Tomatoes, and again, chocolate, and different kinds of things. The Latino community, the Latino, we have contributed these things, right? And a lot of people, I guess they don't remember, they don't recall. We just take it for granted, especially eating a tomato. We're like, it's just a tomato, but it's not. It's been something that, they took from our roots, and literally are not giving credit that this is the reason why they striving. Because a lot of the time, corn, same thing, and corn help with famine in Europe, because for whatever reason they're just they were not doing well in Europe for a long time. But whenever they got here to the Americas, they took all these stuff back over there and to help them feed them, and they didn't give us no credit sometimes. I don't feel it's not touched up enough. So what do you know about frijoles? Anything? That they're good. That they're good. Yeah. You know that they're very nutritious. They have a lot of nutrition. They do. So anyways, the first, as far as beans, there's 2 different theories, right? So the first theory was they were from Peru and around that area, Bolivia, Argentina. But the most recent theory is that it's more closer to Jalisco and like south of Mexico. So it's from Mexico. And all these are theories, really, because we don't really know. Like,
I wish we could know for sure, though.
I have a, what I said last time. If I have a time machine, I will go back and see exactly the times of when they came up with this, whenever exactly we discovered beans and all that. And I want to see exactly the moment of time it happened. Because that would be great to know. But we really don't know. It's just based on theories and things like that. But it makes a lot of sense, though. Okay, so they domesticated beans in Mexico at that time, but there's other stories that it came from different places around the world. But as far as we know, domesticated beans, which is 2 genes, came from Mexico. What do you think about that?
I think that's pretty accurate.
I think so too. Even though I wasn't there, I take the information that it would be accurate, that that's where it came from.
Yeah, because also where you see them the most now, we associate it with Mexico and...
Yeah, every dish.
Yeah.
Every dish. Like, think about it. Sopes?
Frijoles.
Yeah. What else?
Rice and beans.
Rice and beans. Every dish has beans. Free-fried beans. Frijoles rancheros. What else? Pinto beans. Black beans. There were not... a lot of those are mostly in... the Caribbeans, but yeah, we do eat a lot of black beans too, and pupusas. Include some of the beans. This already, he's half
We're all
over
hungry.
Yeah, I think we're all hungry over here. All right, so the one of the things that they do have and beans, and if you're like myself, they don't eat meat. They're a great source of protein, fiber, and magnesium, iron, potassium, and calcium, and they're gluten free. That's crazy, right?
Nice.
That is wild to me, that this little bitty plant that came from Mexico or South America, either way, the Americas, is so nutritious that you don't necessarily have to. I'm not pushing a vegan agenda on y'all, but I'm just saying, if you wanted to take a break a couple of days, you can supplement it with beans, lentils, and things like that, and you'll be just fine. You'll get your proteins in, homie. They sold you on that protein, by the way. All y'all brainwashed that y'all need so much protein, and it's not even like that. You know, I was listening to another podcast that I watch a lot. I listen to a lot of podcasts. He was saying that if we reduce our consumption of food by 30%, then we'll live 30% longer. Do you know that?
You think it's true?
I think so too. I really do. Do you really think that back in the days we used to eat like that many meals that we eat today? I don't think so.
Maybe.
I think maybe we used to either eat one meal a day, or sometimes we didn't even eat.
Nah.
Yeah.
Because you have your morning, noon, and night.
No, that's sold that to us too. There's people that eat one meal and they do well off. Really do. Because the thing is, okay, it takes a while for our gut to digest the food, like 2 or 3 hours sometimes, you know. Not to mention, just once you digest, you just let it just clean itself out. But we'll never give it a break. That's why you always have people with problems and things like that. So, and I'm not talking back in the days, like back in like the time where we already started like coming up with food. I'm talking about back in the days where they used to have to go hunt like a buffalo, things like that. They used to go days sometimes without eating.
I can't imagine doing that. Like having to go, like use so much energy to catch a buffalo when you're starving and you're dizzy because you're so hungry. You still got to go catch the buffalo.
Okay, but that's us thinking that. You know what I mean? But they can go. I did a water fasting one time. It was more like a lemonade type. So it was a lemonade cleanse, they call it, and it was water, it was lime, cayenne pepper, and maple syrup, and you blend it all in, and that's all you drink for like. I did it for 6 days. No food whatsoever.
Oh wow!
All I did was drink that, and I was able to do it. I was fine. It hurt, like the first 2 days, like I could feel it, but then once I drink the juice and I guess the syrup, the maple syrup, I don't know. And the cayenne, it just gave me a little energy. And sometimes, like, maybe the, what's that called? The burning of the acid, acidic, you can feel it, but nothing happened to me. And
For
I did it
6
for
days?
6 days. Yeah, I did it 6 days. I had gallons, but it was expensive. Maple syrup is expensive. Like, this little thing of freaking syrup is like $7-10.
Oh.
Yeah, so I did like a bunch of gallons. I had gallons and gallons of that stuff, and I just do it at night and then drink it, and that's all I did. And nothing happened to me. So I can see how you can go 2 or 3 days. I see what you're saying, though, but because that's what we're accustomed to nowadays. But back in the day, sometimes maybe if they went 1 day without eating, trying to find, or even if they had to go far from where they actually had camp, kill that and then take it back, they probably didn't eat until they got back. You know, they couldn't stop because of, you know, whatever predator was out there. So it's just we're accustomed to the 3 meals. But that was sold, you know that, right? You know where the word breakfast come from?
No.
Breakfast is originated from breaking fast. Breaking fast meaning you breaking your fast of not eating. That's it. That's all. That's where the word came from. But the cereal industry got that word and started pushing it more as an important meal of the day, which is not. All it means is breaking fast, just breaking the time where you, from the last time you ate to the time you're gonna begin to eat.
I never knew that.
Yeah, but the cereal industry got a hold of that word and they started pushing cereal and all that stuff
There's
on
a lot
it.
of cereal.
Yes.
A whole aisle.
And who was the one leading the charge? The cereal industry, trying to push that, you know, it's important to have this meal, and it's beneficial for everybody to eat 3 meals and snacks in between. Why? It's more consumption, more spending for the food industry. We don't eat that much food. We really don't. There's people that actually just do 1 meal a day and they do just fine. It's a good sized meal. Don't get me wrong, but and then there's intermediate fasting. Have you ever heard of that?
No.
So intermediate fasting is you go a period of time without eating, like 12, 14 hours without eating. And then the 6 hours or whatever hours remaining, like a 6-hour window, you can eat whatever during that time. But then the other rest of the 12, you don't eat nothing. And there's people that do that. It's like a thing. Yeah. How many meals do you eat a day, do you think? For sure.
For sure, probably 4. Because I have a super high metabolism, and I could eat probably every 1 to 2 hours.
For real?
Yeah.
God,
so I could never do fasting.
Nah.
Nope.
I mean,
I'll die.
It just depends, though.
No.
But they're not big meals. Don't tell me you eat it like a whole buffet.
Yeah.
No way.
Yeah.
She's little bitty. Huh?
It looks like we're eating after this.
Yeah, little bitty. No
and
way.
I ate before, I'm already hungry.
Really?
Yeah.
We're gonna go eat after this. All right. So again, the continuing with beans, very rich in nutrients. If you don't know, if you ever wanted to take a break from meat or whatever the case, you can always substitute with beans. Nothing wrong with that. About the beans were taken to Europe back in the 1600s. So it would have been the Spaniards or the Portuguese came. And in the 1600s, that's when they shipped over the beans to Europe. And then from Europe, again, they went back to the States. And during that time, it's said that the reason why the colonies were able to be prosperous is because of beans. Because they grow fairly fast. And then they're very, like, they whenever you grow beans, they have a lot of nitrogen that they put into the soil. So if you have a lot of nitrogen to the soil, it benefits all the plants around it. So that's the reason why they said that it was very, very beneficial for the colonies at that time. Whenever they came and they brought the beans over, that at that time is one of the reasons why they were able to survive and prosper. Can you believe that?
That's pretty cool.
I think it's possible.
Todos en este